And it's part of that communion gathering, the same thing.
Indicate by raising your green cards.
The Church of Love from God above.
To me, the New England Synod is us. It's the realization that together we can do far more than we can do on our own.
You know, I equate it to a jump in a lake. You get immersed in your congregation, immersed in life. But sometimes you got to come up, go to the dock, and see what the others are doing.
We are part of something bigger than ourselves, larger than individuals, larger than individual congregations, and that when we come together we can accomplish much more as that larger team than working on our own.
For me, I've always found the New England Synod to be a great opportunity for fellowship with other Christians around New England. It's also a great way to share in our various gifts and in our assets and in our leadership with one another.
The New England Synod, to me, is the vital link between congregations, the Synod itself, the Lutheran Church of America, and the wider church.
So I think there are ways that we work together to strengthen all of the congregations so that then we can serve the larger community.
Just like in my own congregation, I could help my neighbor with my congregation, and all of us together we can help the community more. The New England Synod is the same way. I can't help everybody in the New England area, but with the Synod, I can be part of serving those others.
And we need each other for this, to support one another, encourage each other, but also so that we can do bigger and better things in service of God.
The New England Synod is not only Lutheran churches working together, but all ages as well. By getting different viewpoints from everyone, we can create God's future.
Stepping out and seeing the wider church and what we can do when we multiply everything 100-fold, and then looking at what the church-wide does and multiplying it by even more. It's amazing.
The Synod is a way that connects people from different congregations across New England so that we can work together to do the work of the church.
So I think the New England Synod for me is primarily a network of friends. It's a place where our ministry is based on the relationships we build.
We need to work together, not alone, or not just for yourself or your family. This is a fellowship.
I think Synod reminds us that we are not individuals, we are united in community. We're united in our congregations, but also across congregations, across this geographic area, across the country, as followers of Christ. We are part of something larger.
The poet John Donne once wrote that no man is an island, that we're all parts of the continent and the main. And I live on an island. I live on Cape Cod. And now that I'm part of Synod Council, it's really exciting for me to cross a bridge and join the Synod Council when they meet, because we cross all kinds of bridges in those meetings.
The Synod Council is composed of representatives from all the congregations in the 6 New England states. We are elected for a term of 4 years.
As a student right now in Boston, being on Synod Council has helped me learn about the different things the Synod does and has connected me to a wider group of people.
Synod Council is my way of coming to the surface and looking about and sharing and greeting and being part of the whole church.
During this past year, we as the New England Synod began an intentional engagement for exploring our Synod's missional strategy. Through that process, we articulated that God's purpose for us as the New England Synod is to go where love leads, to serve where love calls. Our purpose is grounded on 5 guiding principles. First, pray always. Secondly, give of ourselves. Third, stand with others. Fourth, embrace change and diversity. And fifth, make room for joy.
You are receiving this DVD from the Ad Hoc Committee to elect a bishop of the New England Synod. Especially, you will be asked to participate in the process to determine the qualifications that the new bishop must have and how you can be involved to determine what those qualities are.
Whether or not you're going to be a voting member at next June's Synod Assembly, you are invited to become part of a process that will lead to the election of our next bishop. Here are just some of the things that you can do.
Pray for our New England Synod, for our congregations, and for our rostered leaders as the Holy Spirit stirs within us to raise up a new bishop.
Plan to attend one of the Doing What Matters gatherings scheduled for Saturday, November 5th. Invite others from your congregation to come with you.
In your congregation, work to choose your voting members to Synod Assembly early, so that those attending can take part in the meetings taking place beginning in January. You might even pray about offering yourself to serve as a voting member.
Attend the meeting that will be held in your conference in January or February. This gathering will begin with a Bible study and be followed by small group conversations about the Synod's purpose statement, the future direction of our common mission, and the gifts that will be needed in our next bishop. The information from these meetings will be forwarded to the ad hoc committee to be compiled with all the information received from all the conference meetings.
Attend the mission area assembly in your area, which will be held in either March or April. At these assemblies, the results of the conference meetings will be reviewed, and attendees will craft questions which will be asked of candidates for bishop. Some of these questions will be asked of the top 7 candidates at a forum, which will be held on Friday evening, June 8, at Synod Assembly.
The new bishop will be elected at Synod Assembly, which will take place from June 8th to 10th in Springfield, Massachusetts. The first ballot will be an ecclesiastical ballot. Voting members can nominate any ELCA pastor on this ballot. There are no nominations prior to Synod Assembly. Information about ballots 2 through 5 will be explained closer to the time of the Synod Assembly.
We encourage you to take an active role in this process by beginning conversations in your congregation with your pastor, other rostered leaders, and fellow members. As you do so, keep these questions in your thoughts and prayers. What does it mean for my congregation to be part of a larger, connected church? What are we able to do together as a synod for the sake of Christ's mission that we could not do alone as a congregation? What kind of leader, endowed with what spiritual gifts, does the New England Synod need to better fulfill God's purpose for us? And lastly, what are the challenges that we face as we seek to go where love leads and serve where love calls? On behalf of the Ad Hoc Committee and the Synod Council, we do hope that you will become involved in this process to elect our next bishop. If at any time you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, you may contact us through the Synod office in Worcester. We look forward to the conversation which will take place over the next months in the New England Synod.